It's Thursday, and you know what that means. That means that contractors across the country are wondering if Angi Leads is worth it. And how do I know that? Because YouTube charts literally tell me. Every Thursday, the searches for the word Angi Leads spikes. And so let's talk about whether or not it's worth it, because that's the question that everybody's wondering. First of all, what is Angi Leads? So if you just Google Angi Leads, they'll pop up here at the top and you'll see formerly Home Advisor. Okay, so we know now that Angi Leads is actually the same thing as Home Advisor. But wait, what about Angie's List? Remember that thing called Angie's List? Well, they're actually the same company now too. Gosh, it was like 5 or something plus years ago. The company that owned Angie's List bought Home Advisor. And so these two companies were separate, but they were owned by the same big company. And then like 2 years ago, I guess Angie's List acquired Home Advisor. So like one company absorbed the other one. And now just in 2021, the companies have merged like officially. And Angie's List and Home Advisor are currently in the process of merging into Angi Leads. So what does this mean to us contractors? Well, basically, nobody really cares except that everybody wants to get more customers, and Angi Leads seems like the easiest way to do that. I mean, you could go off, you could invest in a website, you could run advertising, spend money on that, you could invest in search engine optimization, you could do Facebook and Instagram, you could do Houzz. You could do all these different things, or you can just buy leads from Angie's List and not bother with any of that other stuff. And that is the avenue that a lot of contractors and construction companies take. And what people are finding out is that it really doesn't work as they expected it to. Yes, they do get leads. I mean, look at this. I log into this account and there's tons of leads here. These are almost all from just this month. And so you definitely do get a lot of leads, but are those leads worth it? Now let's talk about that for a minute. And I'm gonna use my trusty little iPad here to draw some of this stuff out. So let's talk about how this works. If you go to Google and you type in like, remodeling contractor near me, right here at the top is going to be Angie and Home Advisor. Now we already know that these are both the same company, but they are both running ads separately as if they are different companies. And these are ads up here. They are paying Google to be here. If I click on this ad, they're going to have to pay Google probably like $30, something like that. And then if we scroll down, we're going to see them again. Here's Angie right here. Here's Home Advisor right here. And so they're taking up 4 spots on the front page of Google. And that's how they get leads. If I click on this, remodeling contractor near me, I'm going to go to this page that we'll match you with top rated pros. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. If I put in my zip code, they're going to ask me questions about my project and all this stuff. They're going to ask me for my name, my phone number, my address. And as soon as I get to the point where I'm expecting to see a list of contractors, I'm going to see that list, but there's also going to be contractors buying my contact information as leads and calling me. And note that I said contractors and not a contractor. And that's because when you buy a lead from Angie's List or Angi Leads, it's going to go to multiple contractors at the same time. Now I've heard 3, I've heard 5, I've heard up to 6. I talked to somebody that works at Angie's List many years ago, and they told me that this lead will be sold to up to 6 contractors at the same time. Okay, so they advertised on Google, they paid for somebody to click on their ad, they took their contact information without making it clear that that contact information was going to be sold to somebody. And now there's 6 contractors calling this one person. And this creates kind of a weird environment to sell into. And if you've been using Angi Leads to get customers, then you'll have surely noticed that this is happening, where you'll start calling somebody and they weren't expecting you to call, or they're frustrated that they've already been called a bunch of times and they weren't even ready to talk to anybody. And all of this creates this confusing situation where these 6 contractors end up being really pissed off because they didn't get a job, or they bought this lead for $50 or 30 or 100 and they didn't get anything for it. A lot of times nobody answers the phone. Other times they'll get a hold of someone and they won't be interested, or they will have already gotten a quote from somebody else, or they will have already completed their project. I've heard that one before. And even if one of these guys gets the project, you've got 5 other guys who are upset that they didn't. And so this creates this cycle of frustration for a lot of people. And you know, I've been a contractor. I've been remodeling homes my whole life. I grew up building houses with my dad. We used Angie's List and Home Advisor for like over 10 years. And so I've used this service a lot, and it used to work really well. But I think as it's grown and as more and more people have used it, the value has lowered, and it's gotten a lot more expensive to market online. I mean, because you've got all of these giant companies competing for these spots on Google. And so it's just created this environment where a lot of people aren't finding it to be worth it. Does that mean it's not going to be worth it for you though? No, it doesn't. And so let's talk about how to determine if it is worth it for you. So the marketing is a pretty basic function. You put money in up front, and then you take people through your business process, and then you get money out the back. That's how it's supposed to work. And when you have this built out properly and you've been executing it over time and you're really good at it and your whole business is running super smoothly, you're putting some money in the front end, you're getting customers, you're giving them a great experience, they're paying you your rates, and then you're making money on the back end, and you're able to turn that around over and over and over again, and then increase the amount of money you put in the front end and get more out the back end. That's how it works. And so when you're using Angi Leads, or you're advertising on Facebook or Google, or you're investing literally anything into your marketing, this is how you determine if it's worth it. So you always track the money going in. And the key word here is track. You track everything that you do. So money in, I track number of leads coming in. So how many people reach out to me, contact me? How many leads did I get from Angi Leads if I'm buying them? Or how many leads came through my website, filling out my contact form, or phone calls, or whatever. And I track the number of leads, and then I track the number of ones I talk to, so conversations. I track the number of bids that I give out. And then I track the number of jobs I get and the revenue from these jobs. Revenue and profit. And the profit is your bottom line. So if I put $1,000 in, I'm hoping to get at least $3,000 out. And that's just an example. Maybe your number's different. Maybe you need to get $5,000 out. Maybe you need to get $2,000 out. If I get $3,000 out and I subtract what I invested in marketing, now I've got $2,000 left over. So that means if I put $2,000 in the front, I'm going to get $4,000 out the back, and so on. That's how it works in the most simplest terms. So if you put $1,000 into Angi Leads, how much do you get out on the back end? And you might even want to track your time on this. How much time are you spending calling these people? Because what I know from using Angie's List and or Angi Leads, and from people that are using it today, talking to me, they say on average they talk to 1 out of 7 of these leads. So that means if they buy 7 leads, let's say leads times 7, they're only going to get 1 conversation out of it. So in order to get, let's say that it takes 2 conversations to do 1 bid. So let's just run through these numbers here. let's say that we buy 21 leads. We're going to get 3 conversations, 1.5 bids, because only half of the conversations become bids. Let's say that a third of these actually become jobs. So that would be a half a job, and revenue profit, we won't go that far. But that means that we need to buy 42 leads to get 1 job with Angi Leads. And this is just an example. Your numbers will differ from this, surely. Maybe they'll be better, maybe they'll be worse. You won't know until you actually try it. Okay. So let's talk about why there's so many people failing with Angi Leads right now. And I just want to start off by making it clear that there are some people that are having success with this. I don't get nearly as many calls from them because I mainly get calls from people who are really frustrated with it. And there's a lot of people who are frustrated. So why are they frustrated? Well, one reason is because of what I just showed you. If you're just a homeowner, you have never done this before, you don't know how Angi Leads works, you're not really familiar with how Google works, you type in what you're looking for on Google, Angi Leads says that they'll match you with top rated pros, it sounds great, it says see prices and book services in an instant. You know, they're not really telling you what's going on or request quotes. So they're not telling you that once you fill this out, your contact information is being sold. And so that's why only 1 out of 7 people are actually interested or even picking up their phone, is because a lot of them were not actually ready to talk to anybody yet. They were just doing some research, sitting on the couch, browsing online. They clicked on something, they filled out a form. Now they're getting called by 6 different people. So, people are not ready to be called. And one tactic you could use is to have some kind of follow-up process for these people. Because if you are spending $1,000 a month on Angi Leads, you're probably going to be getting like 10 to 20 leads per month. And if you're only talking to 2 or 3 of those, the other 17, how are you going to follow up with them? Chances are, if you follow up with 100 of these people for long enough, you'll get at least another conversation out of it. And that's what like marketing funnels and all that kind of stuff is all about, is how do you get more out of these? But contractors are not marketers, and they don't have time to spend thousands of hours messing around with funnels and building out all these elaborate things. All they want to do is pick up the phone when somebody wants something, go give them a quote, and then do the project and move on. And there's other ways to do that, which I'll touch on here in a minute. But so people are not ready to be called. Another reason is that contractors are not calling right away. So if you think about it, let's just pretend that this person is actually ready to talk to somebody, and they fill out this form, and their information gets sold to 6 different people, and these 2 guys call in the first 5 minutes. But everybody else calls, the next day or 2 or even 3 days later. These guys are automatically disqualified because they already got what they needed from these 2. And then of these 2, only one of them is going to get the job. But so 4 people kind of automatically lost right off the bat because they didn't call right away. And it's different. Like if somebody comes to you through your website, they're only going to you. Like somebody, let's go back to Google here so I can explain how this works. So somebody, they typed in this search, they saw the ads, but they skipped those and they went down to here to Google Maps. Okay, now they've got 3 companies, they're on the map, so they can automatically tell they're in the right place. You've got 3 companies up here, and they've got these reviews. So you're already getting some information to help you decide the best option you have, because you're getting these reviews, and that's what people look at. And if I was looking at these, I would probably click on this one first because they have 43 reviews, and this one has 12, this one has 16. For this example, I'm just going to click the top one because that's my family's business, and I happen to just know what their website is and everything. So what they do is they look through here, they'll click on this, they'll read some of the reviews. They can scroll down here, they can read reviews, they can look at pictures. Once they're satisfied that this company seems worth looking into more, they're going to click on the website button up here. They're going to go through here, they're going to read through the website and yada, yada, yada. And then they're going to find the contact form and they're going to reach out. And we just happen to have our contact form turned off because we're fully booked for a couple of years now and we just don't have time to take in anybody. But normally someone would find a contact form here and they would fill it out just like they would on Angie's List, but they'd fill it out and their contact information would go to our email inbox. And I would get a text message alert letting me know that someone just filled out our form. And I'm the only one that they reached out to. They've already vetted me. They already know who I am. They reached out and now they're expecting a call from me. This is why almost 100% of these people actually pick up the phone. So instead of 1 out of 7 picking up the phone, like on Angi Leads, we'll have 7 out of 7. And so that is one reason why, how I got started on this is it gives you some flexibility. You don't have to call within the first 5 minutes because these people aren't going to be getting calls from 5 other people right away. So it gives you some flexibility. If you're really hard up for work, you should still call them immediately. But that's a completely separate topic. So why they're frustrated, people are not ready to be called. They're not calling them fast enough. Another reason is that messes up this whole situation is because they make it all about, it makes it all about price. When you're automatically competing with 6 other people and they found you through this thing telling you can get quotes and you can just compare a bunch of quotes. Comparing quotes basically equals finding the cheapest price. And not always, but when you're selling something like a remodel, you don't want price to be the number one determining factor. Most guys don't want to charge the lowest price. They want to charge what they need to charge to do the best job that they can. And so going through one of these websites like Angi Leads to find a contractor is automatically going to set up your mindset to be looking for the best price. And it just creates an environment where homeowners are going to be just comparing you to others for your price. On the flip side, when someone comes through your website or something, they're looking at information about you. They're learning about you, what you can do. They're looking at your pictures. They're reading your reviews. It's about you. It's not about your price. You want people sold on you before they ever think about the price. Granted that their budget is appropriate, and that should be something that you ask early on. So why else? I did another video recently that showed that these leads are coming from weird places. So, weird places. So I just showed you an example. Let's see if I can get this other one to show up. Remodeler near me. Oh, perfect. So I just typed in remodeler near me, and the first thing we see is Powell and Sons. Affordable home renovation voted best in Rathdrum. Okay. Click on these guys. And Powell and Sons. Okay. In really light print, that's hard to see, it says contractor referral experts. Okay. So they said that they were voted best in Rathdrum, which is a city near me. And they're acting like they're a construction company. Look at this. Thank you so much. They have reviews up here, but they're not they're not an actual construction company. They literally, if you fill out this form, you're going to start getting calls from people from Angi Leads. And so that means that here's this other website people are finding on Google and asking them free home renovation quote. Okay, cool. And they fill out their info. If you're buying leads from Angi Leads, you just bought their contact information along with 5 other people or however many, and you're in the same boat. And now people are getting calls from you, but they don't expect calls from you because they don't know who you are. And imagine how many different websites there are online that people fill out the form and it's going through Angi Leads. And I think this is one of the main reasons why I've been getting so many calls from people lately saying that Angi Leads has just gone downhill. They used to use Angie's List, it worked pretty good. Now they have Angi Leads and it's just horrible. They're getting almost all these leads that don't answer or just are not ready to buy at all. And so, number 4, leads are coming from weird places. And it's turning into a gigantic waste of time for tons of contractors, which is why I do these videos. I went through all this stuff before. I've tried all of these different services. I've called loads of people that didn't answer the phone. I called them over and over and over again because I spent like $50 to buy their phone number. I've gone through all this crap before, and that's why I'm always preaching to invest this money that you could invest in Angi Leads. Invest this money in your own website. Invest this money on getting found on Google Maps, like down here. Because these guys, I've seen it so many times now. Most of our marketing clients, we do marketing for contractors, for construction companies. We do all this stuff. We have clients that use Angi Leads. We build and maintain websites. We get people found on Google Maps. I've seen all this stuff so many times. Like half of the customers are coming straight from Google Maps. They read the reviews and they just click the call button, and right away they're a really good lead for whoever's answering that phone. And so you should be investing in your own stuff. You can spend $10,000 a month on Angi Leads for 10 years. And if you stop paying, you lose everything. You have nothing to show for it. And they also make you sign these ridiculous contracts where they charge you a bunch of money to cancel. Like any company that has to do that it's a huge red flag. So your website, Google Maps, like this is where your attention should be if you're not already capitalizing on this. And there's tons of companies out there that have an opportunity to really grow their business in a more organic way, where people find them online when they're looking for them. They vet them, and by the time they contact them, they're ready to go. They're ready to meet with you. They're ready for you to come to their house, give them a quote, and get this thing done. No more endless phone tag with people that don't even want to get your phone call. So, website and Google Maps, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's where you should focus. So, is Angi Leads worth it? I would say for some people it is, for most people it isn't. And the only way, if you're going to try it, you have to track this stuff. You need to know whether or not it's profitable for you. And if you're not tracking this stuff and you're just going off a gut feeling and you're not tracking how many leads you buy and how many calls you get and all of that kind of stuff, then you're going to end up in a place where you have no idea what's going on, but your bank account's going to be a lot smaller. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe if you like this kind of stuff and you want to see more, and I'll see you on the next one.